Hey, what's going on, everybody? And today we are dealing with Marvel and Dragon Ball's two mightiest gods. I am here. This is Admin Magic with Admin Thor and Admin Static. And our two experts are going to be seeing who will win a death battle. Now, of course, I sounded like Wiz and Boomstick for a second because on May 9th, Thor and Vegeta will be doing battle in their latest episode of Death Battle. So why not just pull the two experts? We're, of course, going to be analyzing their weapons, their data, feats, scans, things of that nature, if need be, to see who will win. And, of course, we're going by Death Battle's rules. So, bloodlusted. There is no in-character moments. There is no prep time. There pretty much anything that takes away from the character in character is out the window, and we're going by maximum potential. We're not doing composites, but we are going by their maximum potential. So in this case, it would be Thor with the Thor Force as of currently, I believe, versus Vegeta with Ultra Ego, pretty much God of Destruction candidate. So going down with Thor first, Admin Thor, if you could just give us a brief history on Thor as a character, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, so Thor was introduced in like the 1960s, I want to say. And since then, he's became Marvel's like mightiest hero. Usually, when you see the top 10 powerhouses of Marvel, you usually see Thor and like usually around like the top 6 range. Because obviously he's a legacy character, so all they do is pump out ridiculous feats. And as of recent, with Donny Cates' run, they've doubled down on him being the King of Asgard. Because while there's been story arcs where he has been King of Asgard, this time it was full-fledged. Like, oh yeah, this is his like long-running story now. He's staying there, and then that's where the Thor Force comes in, which is the version we're using, which comes from the Odin Force, which is the all-follower ability that Odin has, which comes from basically Odin had 4 brothers, I believe, and then 3 of them died, and all of them were Skyfaller level beings, which means that they can warp reality and they have these ridiculous universal feats, and all their energy combined into one and went into Odin. And the way that power works now is when it's transferred down, the previous user gets all stronger, weaker, as the new one gets stronger and takes the other one's like strength. It's kind of like one for or all for one or whatever. You know what I'm on about in My Hero Academia?
Yes.
It works like that. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, one for all pretty much is a multiplier in which the next person combines their power with the power and so on and so forth, to where Deku is, spoilers, pretty much probably going to be the last user of one for all, because everybody else that has used it before All Might's mentor pretty much died from overuse. So now, of course, we had Thor with the Thor Force and things of that nature. Now, Mr. Admin Static, give us a little brief rundown of the Prince of All Saiyans, Vegeta.
All right, let me go ahead and pop this real quick. So, for starters, high multiversal, period. We already know that. We're going to go ahead and get that out the way. High multiversal. We're talking damn near outerversal, hyperversal tier. All right? That's what we're talking about.
What I tell you?
So, straight out the gate. No, all right. Bullshit aside. That shit is not true. We're not even going to go there. That shit is not true. But, all right. But, all seriousness. So, we got, of course, the Prince of All Saiyans, who was deemed a prodigy, but ended up not being a prodigy. Unfortunately, due to he didn't get his ass kicked by a low-level Saiyan or low-class warrior Saiyan, but he did end up crawling away in a Saiyan pod. That's when we get the first instance of Vegeta. So, oh god, this is gonna hurt me. This is gonna hurt me so much. So as far as we're looking at as feats are concerned, before we get into feats, Frieza said the best thing. Ever.
Before we get into feats, just give a brief history.
Yeah. So Frieza said it best. All hail Prince Vegeta, Prince of No One. So he has no one. He doesn't really have feats in the same line as Thor. Everything, all his stuff has to be compared to another character for the most part.
Hold on. We'll get to feats in a second. We got it.
Yes.
Just get to the history. We will go with that part.
Talk about when he got his ass whooped 6 times.
The history of Vegeta is very bleak. He's always struggling trying to one up Goku or get above Goku. That's pretty much it. Like it's failure after failure after failure, trying to reestablish his Saiyan pride in the manner of a Saiyan king instead of a Saiyan prince. And as we are now in Dragon Ball Super, he's starting to let that go. Not the pride, but the part of, I have to be this symbol of my people and whatnot. He's starting to let that go. He has had major character development over the years as far as his behavior and the way he moves about in life and the way he actually battles it as well. So he is more of a strategic fighter than he used to be. So, but as far as anything else with Vegeta, the writing behind Dragon Ball in general isn't that great. So you're not going to get a deep backstory on anybody for the most part. Most of them are copied from other places, such as, Goku and Superman and shit like that. But as of right now, we got Vegeta in the, I don't want to say the running, because I still don't think he's going to get the God of Destruction or go for the God of Destruction title, but he does have a glimpse of this power with his ultra ego, where he is using God of Destruction energy to fuel this new form he has and take on damage and dish it out and everything like that. But that's pretty much it with Vegeta. There's not a lot behind him, like at all. He's nowhere near in depth as Thor or really any other Marvel character. Like,
gotcha.
It's just that.
Now, this weapons part is going to be pretty much simple because Vegeta doesn't use any. So we just go clear that out. But Thor, if you could go over the weapons that Thor uses now and the ones that he used back then.
Okay, so starting off with the big one, Mjolnir, right? Mjolnir is crafted from moonstone, Uru metal.
He don't like that shit.
No. Crafted from Uru metal, which is probably like one of the strongest metals in all of Marvel outside of vibranium itself. It's probably like up there around like at least top 3. You could, with feats and stuff, you could argue maybe number 1 between that and vibranium. And with inside it currently is the All-Father Odin. And before that, there was the Mother Storm, which did a lot of crazy shit as well with feats, which any feat that the Mother Storm or Odin did can count it towards Mjolnir when it comes to energy projection and manipulation, because that's what Mjolnir does. It's a big amplifier towards all energy-based things. And then, including that, it has obviously the enchantment that everyone knows about, whoever shall be worthy can possess the powers of 4, whatever. And then there's some like not just energy things, but there's also in relation to like its striking strength, which is, it was in Thor God Butcher where it was said that it could destroy a planet like a pebble. That's just straight from like the gospel thing. It wasn't like somebody was saying it. It was like, like the text boxes, which is just like, this is like meant to be an outside source. It's telling you this is what it is. That's what it was. We also have Yarnbjorn, which is his axe, which is blessed by Odin to cut through stuff that's strong as celestial armor. So it's basically essentially, how everyone goes on about Wonder Woman's sword where it can cut through anything. It's just that, but as an axe, right? Then of course, like if we're only talking about physical weapons, that's about it that Thor has, like he uses in his arsenal, because we wouldn't count his belt of strength as a weapon. We wouldn't count like, the Odin force or the Thor force, as a weapon, because that isn't a physical thing. But like Yarnbjorn and Mjolnir are like his big main 2.
What about the one in the back that I see? I think that's what,
Stormbreaker? Yeah, well, I mean, like that's MCU, but like, and he broke Stormbreaker recently. I think he might have recrafted it. I can't remember, but like he did just destroy it in front of Beta Ray Bill just to be like, I don't think you understand the power level difference here, bro. Yeah.
Speaking of which, how Death Battle is going to be. Of course, there is no live action counterpart for Vegeta, fucking stars, because we're not going to talk about that one movie that shall not be named. But anyways, please explain the difference, Admin Thor, between the MCU Thor and comic book Thor.
Well, as of right now, it's a bit up in the air with Moon Knight and stuff on which direction they want to take with how Thor's represented, because now with Moon Knight, they're implementing actual gods. They did that a wee bit with Bass and stuff in Black Panther, because Moon Knight doubled down on that, saying like the ancestral plane and stuff is like an actual like deity place that you can go to. So with like Thor and stuff, even though it was said in like the first Avengers that he's an alien, that just has all these high-tech stuff, there's a chance that they might retcon that and be like, no, it's just how your mind is trying to like comprehend the fact that somebody's an actual god. So depending on the way Moon Knight ends, depend on where that is. But if we're going off what the MCU says right now, he's an alien that's super strong, not in the same ballpark anywhere near like anything Thor has shown in the comics, but he uses Stormbreaker, which is his like all father weapon. Like this is him as King of Asgard. Stormbreaker's meant to be his mighty axe. It's just Yarnbjorn mixed with Mjolnir in the MCU. That's just what it is. Versus what Thor is now in the comics, which is full-blown King of Asgard, literal god. Like, you know, when people go on about, oh yeah, that wasn't the real dark side, that was the Avatar dark side shit. Thor's like that too, because when you kill Thor, he isn't dead. You've killed his physical body, and then he comes back. Like he retains the memories and stuff from his death. Like that's just a big thing. There's like a whole, what is it? Even though it's a different like universe from 616, it was doubling down on some of the stuff that was written in 616, which was like World of X or whatever, where it was like all these beings, like Asgardians, fucking the Olympians and stuff, are actual like deities that just create physical form. So like if you destroy the physical form, it doesn't matter, it's just going to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when it comes to Thor, like in the comics, it is like God, like capital G God, and then in the MCU, it's strong alien with lightning axe.
So pretty much the MCU Thor is nowhere near the comic book Thor. And if they use feats for that, it's just they're gonna try to make it close for some stupid reason. Now, now of course we have the Thor Force, which it's pretty much the Thor Force versus Ultra Ego. So, Admin Static, if you could explain what Ultra Ego is, what it technically represents, and how strong you think its capabilities are.
All right, so y'all see all this, right? You see all this shit that you can use to tell for Thor, right? Like MCU, fucking comic books, all animated show. Like he's got all this material where Vegeta literally has just one line of fucking shit. Ultra Ego itself, it's pretty much it's him using this God destruction energy to fuel himself with power, kind of like how Goku's using Ultra Instinct, or I would say it's more so like Kale Can instead of Ultra Instinct itself, because it actually, it actually is a power up, where I feel Ultra Instinct itself isn't a power up, it's more so of an awakening of awareness and everything like that. It's not really a power up, but well, Ultra Ego, what it basically does is using God's destructive energy to give him this form and this power up, and the more he is attacked, the more he can kind of redirect. It's based on how much damage he can take. And he just keeps coming. From what we've seen, he keeps coming until you completely put him down. And we did see him get put down. So I don't know who people, well, I don't know if you think that Thor can't knock this nigga out, but it could definitely happen.
Thor's taking that power.
It's based on how much damage Vegeta can take. The more damage that he takes, the more power he can put out, the more damage he can put out. But again, like I said, key word is how much can he take? Do you believe that he can take all the damage that Thor, All-Father Thor, is going to throw at him? That's the question.
So now here's the controversial part, of course, Admin Static. You know, me and you, being the Dragon Ball people that we are argue with a lot of casuals and hardcore Dragon Ball fans. So about what tier do you put Vegeta and Goku? Currently, as of now.
Currently, as of right now. At best. Yeah, ready for this? At best, we're talking galaxy level. At best. Not multi-galaxy. We're talking galaxy at best. Because currently, they're taking on Gas and the others and everything, you know, Granola. Well, they're not fighting Granola anymore, but while they were fighting Granola and Gas and everything like that, this is immediately after Moro. All right, immediately after Moro, they've gotten probably a tad bit stronger. The thing that one of the biggest problems that the Dragon Ball community has is they think when Goku, especially Goku, but Saiyans in general, when they get stronger, even by just a little bit, just a Zenkai boost, they think they get like 100 times stronger than what they were.
Even though, not to cut you off, fun fact, the Zenkai boost ended when they reached Blue.
Yeah, that's no longer a thing.
But guys, do you not remember when like Goku beat Boo, who destroyed a galaxy, or like when Beerus like and him clashed and the universe shook or whatever, and and that when Gogeta and Broly were fighting, and that's like, you know, dimensional rifts, you know.
So
I guess while we're on the subject,
the Gogeta and Broly thing, they did shatter to somewhere else. We know this because they changed locations. They went from a Icelandic place to a complete desert after they went in and out of it. So it changed locations. The question is, what dimension they break, which is most likely the same shit as like Boo or some shit like that. Who knows? But go ahead, Magic.
So yeah, I think that would just pretty much be a dimensional break, if anything. And dimensions can range anywhere from a universal size dimension to anywhere where it's just we're just opening up one thing. Well, yeah, from a universal dimension to a pocket size one, such as what Hit uses for time. So yeah. So we're not gonna say anything about that. The Beerus versus Goku thing, that has been done to death. And I don't understand how people get this confused. When it comes to feats, anything that is shared between two people does not equal a 1-to-1 for both. Just because Beerus and Goku together combined, even though we know for a fact that Beerus was holding back a whole bunch of the time in the anime and in the manga, does not mean
it's like 6 or 7% he only used, if I remember correctly.
If I remember correctly, but it doesn't even really say that in the manga. It's just we just know he was holding back. And it's just like, it does not mean that just because they were about to destroy the universe together, that Beerus is universal and Goku is universal. Because once again, in the manga and in the anime, it continuously shows you that that is not the case. Everything continues to be down to where they actually are, which to me, Admin Static puts them at Galaxy. I at least put them at Galaxy to high Galaxy.
So with the whole Goku and Beerus thing, and I firmly believe I'm gonna stand by it, that was more because of Beerus, not because of Goku. If this was the case, if it was the result of actually both of them, this would continue. This type of thing would continue to happen. The universe will continue to be at peril, no matter who Goku fights at this point. He's continued to fight other people. Even Gogeta and Broly fought, two extremely powerful characters like Gogeta alone, and you still didn't get that instance of the universe being put in danger.
Especially since Broly does not know how to do key control or God key control as well as Beerus and or Frieza.
Yeah, so it's there is no actual. They don't have a universal feat. The closest thing you'll get to a universal feat outside of Xeno would be in fact Beerus and Champa when they fought each other and they did destroy a universe and they had to fucking redo it. But that's the closest you're gonna get. And again, that's all that is because of Beerus when it came to Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Beerus fighting. If that was two other people, if Goku was fighting somebody else, that wouldn't have been a thing. Beerus was the caveat to that.
I'm gonna make all them stupid arguments I know the Dragon Ball fans are gonna make just so like we clear it up. What about when Jiren does that full power up and shakes endless spines of whatever like the Tournament of Power thing was? Do you not remember?
This shit is not endless. It's a pocket dimension that is small. It's literally just a little bit bigger than an arena. It's a fucking bubble. It's not no endless thing, because if it was endless, there's no reason why people are in the fucking bleachers. When you fall off, you go to the bleachers. You know why? Because before you hit the ending of that void, you go back to the fucking bleachers. If it was endless, your ass would keep falling. Like, and it clearly shows a fucking bubble on the outside, like on its way into the arena. You see a bubble. It's not endless.
It literally,
because it's pitch black.
The Grand Priest literally says it was created outside of the multiverse. Like it was literally created that way. Like, hey,
so y'all couldn't affect nothing on the outside. Like
you could fight at your full potential inside this bubble.
I wouldn't say full potential, because if they could fight at their full potential, niggas would be dead.
Well, I mean, of course you had to hold back, but there wasn't, like, for instance,
you could do more than what you normally could.
Yeah, like Goku going Super Saiyan 3 was shaking the planet. Like Goku going Super Saiyan 3 in the Tournament of Power affected nothing. Like
but yeah. But back to the original point with like definitely I put them at Galaxy at best.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not multi or anything like that. Galaxy at best, because the last time we got a legitimate answer of how strong these characters were. You had Moro, who was indeed clocked at max, able to destroy a galaxy, stated by Whis. Goku was not strong enough to stop that shit. And this is Moro with his power, mirrors his power, and the power he absorbed from the earth itself and everything that he was sucking up out the ground. That put him at galaxy level. Goku wasn't not strong enough to stop that. So what I need people to understand is it's not bad that you're just galaxy level. That's still strong as shit compared to a lot of characters in fiction. That's strong as shit still. Stop crying about it. The motherfucker's galaxy level, that's it.
I don't think people and not to cut you off, I don't think people realize how large a galaxy actually is.
And that's the problem. Cell was solar system. I was like, you know how many solar systems alone are in a galaxy? I think people assume that there's one solar system inside of a fucking galaxy.
And it's when there's trillions of stars, got hundreds of thousands of millions of planets.
Fucking massive. Y'all need to understand that. And the reason why I'm bringing up Goku is because, unfortunately, Vegeta doesn't have any proper feats you could use. A lot of the times you have to scale him to Goku, because time and time again, they keep continuously saying, at least now, he's even with Goku. Him and Goku have a tug of war with who's stronger, like one stronger for a brief moment in a fight. And then in that same fight, the other one becomes stronger than the other one. Then they're at the same level. They keep going back and forth, which is why they're considered even. We see this with Jiren. Like, you had Super Evo, which we never see again, which I don't know fucking why. Super Saiyan Blue, Evo, and Kaioken times 20 are on an even scale. There's gonna be a lot of comparison with Goku and Vegeta here because of the fact that they're so even when we go talking about power skills.
Pretty much, because Dragon Ball suffers from power scaling, which is pretty much when you have to do comparative of characters. It's not like comic books to where Thor can literally do a feat by himself, and that is the tier that you can put him on. It's literally the fact of, okay, well, if Goku can defeat a certain character, and then another character defeats that character, then you could say those characters are about relatively even. It's always a comparative in Dragon Ball, because manga and anime are written differently than, of course, comic books to where you have multifaceted stories and multifaceted things going on in the comic book, to where a lot of times in manga it is just a linear story about a protagonist in the adventures that he goes on. So
yeah, and you don't get a lot of with those mangas, especially with mangas, you don't get a lot of narrative dialogue. Like if you read, especially a Dragon Ball manga, so look at this one. When you read your traditional comics, like if you read a Thor comic book, you're gonna see boxes for narration, and then text box bubbles for the actual character speaking. You will never see in a Dragon Ball manga a fucking narration box. The only time you will see a box is if it will say hyperbolic time chamber or Boma's house. Like that's the only time you're gonna see that shit. Only time. But you never get a description of what's going on from the narrator itself. It always comes from the mouths of the characters and then what you see on the panel.
Yeah, the only time that you'll actually see like information about moves and the characters' biographies and things of that nature, you usually only see those in data books, which data books, give or take, are reliable and sometimes
they're not even done by the actual sources itself.
So sometimes they are, a lot of times they're not. And even if you go by the ones that sometimes are done by the source, some of them have outlandish things, like Kakashi in a Naruto data book talking about he was being omnipotent. So even if you go by those data books, you're just like, nah, that don't sound right. There's no omnipotence in the entire thing of Naruto.
There's actually some scans of the data book of the Kaioshin, I can't never pronounce it, the Kaioshin book that's going around, data book for Dragon Ball, where this whole book is fucking wrong, because in one of the pages it's talking about how big the Dragon Ball universe is, and it's saying King Yama's desk is the size of a solar system.
The desk.
If you've ever read the manga or watched the anime, you know good and goddamn well that shit is not the size of no fucking solar system. And if you believe that book, kill yourself.
Oh, we do not. Of course, before YouTube decides to try to ban us, we do not support, of course, the unaliving motions. Anyways. Now,
well, the Nerds of Combat VR show, we do. Go ahead.
But no, okay. So you gave us a little bit of a description of the Thor force, admin Thor. Give us the description of the Odin force before Thor has it, and then the powers that Thor got before the full power of the Thor force, which of course we know he had goddamn several.
I want you to understand, this conversation is hurting me right now.
Because you have to be the loser.
I have no. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So Odin Force, right, is the power of Odin, right? Who in Marvel canon is the strongest Skyfaller, which Skyfaller in itself is a title. It's meant to represent universal beings, right? Like, God of Destruction, this is a universal being. Skyfaller, universal being. Difference with Odin Force and other Skyfallers and like what Odin represents within them tiers is, see Yggdrasil, the world tree. You know how like when it's like, oh, I'm king of the 9 realms, but there's, king of the 10 realms because there's 10 of them. What do you call it? It was then stated in the Thor comic that each single one of them realms is a universe in itself, which makes Odin like immediately a multiversal being, because when you have 10 things that are stated as universes and all this shit's going on,
wait, hold on, before. So that means automatically that it's more than that 9 times bullshit that Death Battle likes to pull with that. And the Dragon Ball universe is based on our own.
That 9 times shit is not a real thing. Fans made that shit up.
Yeah. We love that. This makes no sense.
Because the thing is,
at best, the only thing I will give you is if you say it's 2 because of the fucking, I guess you could say the fucking universe, and then it's split in half, and then that's
no. The reason why that doesn't work. The reason why that doesn't work either is because
it's split.
It's a third of a whole cake. Like the universe is a cake, and all you're doing is splitting within the same cake. Yeah, you're splitting layers.
It's not even that as well, right? When you're saying like the universe that is meant to represent us in that scenario, right? That we have theoretically proven that is constantly expanding with no hope of stopping it. It just keeps on going. When you say it's 9 times something that is essentially infinite, that makes no sense. You can't times infinite.
Not only that, you're pretty much also saying that there's 9 universes within the observable universe.
Yeah. It's
another thing that makes it so small is the fact that there's only 22 planets with life on it in the fucking Dragon Ball and in Goku's universe. In Universe 7, there's only 22 planets with life on it.
As far as we know, yes. And there's only 13 current planets. Well, no, wait, 12. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, 12 universes.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, there's only 12 universes. So it's
12 universes, and Goku's only has 22 with life on it.
And
as what we said out of his mouth. So I believe Whis knows all that shit. So
out of the infinite Marvel omniverse.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So, and unlike other representatives of like other things in Dragon Ball where you have to like power skill, like you're getting the feats on scan. So like I said, each realm in Yggdrasil is a universe stated by somebody who is just like, you just can't even comprehend what this is. You're calling them realms, but they're really not. It's like a bottomless infinite thing of universes. So when you have that information, right, and then you see Odin do shit like, so see when Surtur was like awoken, right? He set flame to like all 9 realms, right? Excluding the 10th one because that was a recent addition. So he set flame to 9 realms, right? Odin woke up, waved his spear, it all dissipated immediately. Like you're talking about somebody stopping a multiversal attack because that's what it is. He's lighting 9 universes on fire, and he's just like, no, it's not happening today, Chief. Right? And then you also have like stuff that shown like what Odin can do if he really wanted to, which is just crazy reality warping. You want a planet, boom. But he just doesn't do the stuff. We know he can because he's shown it. He can create a planet. He can like restructure stuff, put crazy enchantments on things. Like the Mother Storm itself was a universal being that was like wreaking havoc across like the 616, and he was like, you're getting shafted into this fucking piece of metal. Like just all this crazy stuff.
Speaking of shafted, he gave the Phoenix Force the shaft. Like, come on now.
Yeah. That's another thing, right? That's another thing for Thor, right? That we're not even discussing. Because we know that he can technically use Phoenix Force perfectly because he's the son of the Phoenix Force. And he also has Mother Gaia parts, who's another universal being. Like, it's just... But yeah, no. That's like Odin Force objectively has multiversal feats. And then when you're taking into consideration the minute power that Thor had during the start of Donny Cates 1, which was, hey, Galactus, I know that you are, a universal being. You could say multiversal, like all this crazy shit. Well, just taking your shit, bro. Like, I'm just nicking the power. Like he just did it on the spot. And it wasn't even like he was amped by Galactus at the time, because Galactus was just like, I'm taking the power cosmic away. And he's just like, no, you're not. It's mine now. And then turned him into a bomb. And then blew up a multiversal being. Like, you're literally talking about like feats upon feats showing how crazy Thor is. And this is current Thor, like, which is probably the one they're going to use. Like, we're not including like, what was it, Chaos War, where it was just normal Thor and his lightning was strong enough to hurt a being that was meant to be a representative of like 10,000 evil dark gods. And he was just like, I'm just going to shit lightning on you. Like
the Avatar of Oblivion.
Yeah, like just so much crazy shit that like, see, this is what happens, right, when you decide to make a versus battle, right, with a manga character that's existed for, how long has Dragon Ball existed? 30 years, something like that?
It's going on 40 now. Yeah,
Is it?
it'll be 40 in 2025, I believe.
Yeah, versus Thor with like 65 to 70 years of comics that is consistent with, yeah, he's a god, so he's going to do godlike things. Like I'm not even talking like, because I always have like, because correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because this is going to lead into something else, right? So see, when it comes to Dragon Ball characters,
I need a fucking drink.
yeah. See, when it comes to Dragon Ball characters, I don't think I've ever seen them tank a physical attack that's meant to be like this punch that I'm about to throw.
They
is about
barely
to
tank. They don't even tank planet busting attacks.
That's that's what I'm on about, right? So like
even now they don't tank planet busting attacks.
Yeah. See, like this big thing with Dragon Ball where it's like, oh yeah, he's like can tank a planet busting attack and stuff. See, all of the feats that I've seen from Dragon Ball characters, it's all been energy based attacks. I have not seen like a big representative of just like this punch I'm about to throw is literally about to collapse this entire city, and then they throw it, and then like they're just like, yeah, I caught it. No, like all these crazy like I'm blowing up the planet, I'm blowing up the solar system is all based on their energy based attacks, right? If Thor is hitting Vegeta with Mjolnir that can destroy a planet like a pebble, when when Vegeta's got no feats and like you'll be like, yeah, I can tank physical based attacks. And not only that, right? You can easily make the argument with like, what's his new form, Ultra Ego or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna neck it. He stole a universal power from Galactus. Just like what's he gonna do now?
Vegeta is not going to be able. Ultra Ego Vegeta is not going to be able to tank and redirect any of that attack. He's not going to be able to do it. And I know a lot of people are fucking cringing and screaming right now to like, you can take planetary attacks. They cannot. They cannot withstand planetary attacks. We've never seen it. We know they are above planetary level, but as far as durability, you have never seen anyone tank a planetary attack. It's always one or two things that happen. They either swat it away or there's a fucking energy clash. That's it.
So here's the thing to compound upon that, right? So resurrection of Frieza, right? Frieza blows up the planet.
Dead.
Vegeta survived but died. He died because he could not survive in space. And that is something that they have reiterated even currently against Moro, to where once again Vegeta had to stop Goku from going into space because we cannot survive in space. In fact, Vegeta has even said, I feel almost quote unquote, I feel helpless because I'm mad we cannot go into space to fight. The only person that is able to survive in space, as far as we know, is the three villains: Frieza, Cell, and Boo. That's it.
And two of them don't need to breathe. And wasn't Frieza like every time Frieza was in space, was it not like with a spaceship?
Well, no. He's been in actual space, like he can survive the vacuum of space and everything.
He can survive the vacuum of space. And
if you remember when Namek was blowing up, his body was still floating there for a while, and he was just breathing in space.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and of course, when Cell came back after King Kai's planet blew up, he survived. He reformed in space, and then instant transmission back down to Earth. And then, of course, Majin Buu has been pretty much there since the beginning of time. And it literally just goes from planet to planet to planet to planet to planet, blowing it up, reforming himself back up, and just keeps going. So yeah, it's this hurts me as a Dragon Ball fan too, because it's just like because Dragon Ball is finally getting there, right? Like I am happy as a fan that Dragon Ball is finally getting to the point to where comic book characters have been for decades. Like, and the thing about it is like there's nothing wrong. When Cell said he could blow up the solar system, boom, bet. We getting there now. When
there's nothing wrong with it. That's still strong as shit. That's
like,
and they complain about it. Like, I don't get it.
And no, the reason why they want to complain about it is because, like me and you, this hurts right now because we want them to be there with the rest of them. But just like Admin Thor just named off, like in the beginning, Thor was just the god of thunder. He was the god of thunder who was strong as shit, was defeating the world serpent in the comic books, who, of course, as we know, the world serpent in mythology and in the comic books was fucking with the 9 realms.
Like, fucking with the 9 realms. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, one of Thor's earliest outings is just like, oh yeah, he's lifting like 20 planets with one arm because like a dude hits him with a constricting force like all around him, and then Thor's just like bet and then lifts his arm up, and it's just like that's a constricting force of 20 planets just holding him down. He's just like, yeah, no, I'm lifting my arm up. Like,
and then we go from the Thor force to now he has the 2 where he got the mother Gaia.
Yeah,
of course, as we know as Gaia, universal being, a part of the council of godheads, pretty much can create.
Look at Thor. Look at Thor. Thor's daddy is an all-father. He got 2 mamas. 2 mamas. Gaia.
Oh, no, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Who's Vegeta's daddy? Who's Vegeta's daddy?
A person that blew up 3 planets in one shot.
Vegeta's daddy was a nigga that was the king of a planet. He wasn't even the strongest one.
No, he wasn't, actually, honestly, because
Bardock was stronger than him.
Yeah, no, Bardock came close.
Broly got clocked in at 10,000. That beat King Vegeta.
No, I thought Vegeta was 12.
No, King Vegeta.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I thought King Vegeta when he fully died was at 12.
No.
Oh wow, yeah,
he was at 9.
Oh wait, yeah, because no, he did get that final. Yeah, that final one. Yeah, okay, I got you.
He was clocked in. He was clocked in. The last thing he was clocked in was 9, and Bardock was recently just clocked in at 10 at his max.
Yeah. So yeah.
And did Bardock not literally get shot by a gun in that same like thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about that. You gotta remember you gotta remember. No, this is another thing too. This is another thing too. When it comes to Bardock. For some reason, people are in his mind that Bardock is just super fucking strong, and because he fought gas and everything. Like, no, them niggas back then was weak as shit. If you take any of them people during that time frame, when Bardock fought gas and everybody, like if you take anybody from that time frame and put them in the same saga, Vegeta is waxing all their asses. Like, yeah, they got stronger over time. That's what people. I don't know what people are thinking right now. I don't know why they're not reflecting back on like what the actual power level is for Bardock, but get it together, y'all.
Okay, we're gonna do a power skill real quick, right? So Bardock got shot by like a 0.22, right? So then if we go with like Super Saiyan can take a 0.22 round, we just keep on going up and then figure out what kind of caliber you can use on a god. I'm reckoning 50 cals.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
But no, in all seriousness, it's like Thor had Thor. Thor was Thor. Then Mother Gaia. Then he had the power cosmic, in which he was granted to it and then kept it for himself and then said, I don't want the shit no more because I got the Odin force. You can have this shit back. Then we find out that his mother, his actual mother, he actually has 3 mothers, technically. He has Gaia, Freya, and the Phoenix Force, which of course we know Freya is pretty much a witch. So magic.
Freya's like the queen of magic. Yeah, like
magic.
Queen of magic, right?
Yeah.
Queen of magic. So Odin himself, multiversal. Phoenix Force, multiversal. Gaia, universal.
Freya, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure at this point, I'm pretty sure we're going to find out that Mjolnir is going to end up being his baby mama.
See if it literally said the Godstorm was pregnant with Thor's kid, I would have been like, yeah, cool, whatever.
I'm pretty sure in the next run we're going to find out that Mjolnir is Thor's baby mama. She had a baby with Thor some way, somehow.
I wouldn't have flinched at all. I would be like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll go.
But it's just like, I hope you see where we're getting with this. This is ridiculous. Like this is like you're dealing with somebody who's, when the original power was given, was already at a multiversal level. Odin was able to fight with Galactus. Like,
And
Odin
don't
was
forget
able to fight
Thanos.
with,
He was able to fight with Thanos.
like
He-
Odin was able to fight with Galactus and pretty much was at a standstill. Thor fought with Galactus and it wasn't even a contest. Like
He literally, I have the comic somewhere. It's like somewhere back. There's like Thor 2014. There's literally this scene, right, where Galactus is fighting like Odin, right? And then Silver Surfer's trying to deal with Thor. And then Thor's just like, okay, I've had enough. And then Speed Blitz is so fast that even Silver Surfer's like, just what's that? And then goes through Galactus's head and kills him.
like this is like this fight makes no sense. And then especially like I said, since we're going by Death Battle's rules itself, which is bloodlusted and no prep time. So once again, this
I haven't even discussed like sorry, go on.
Thor has
one of the biggest issues with the Dragon Ball community is it thrives on what I call fan-induced facts. There's a lot of stuff that's put in by the fans and they just run with it. And it's not necessarily the fans' fault. It's how bad the writing is in Dragon Ball. They never give you a clear answer of what these motherfuckers are capable of until like certain points, and then you never get nothing again. So people assume a lot of shit. The people assume a lot of shit and then they run with it. The 9 times fucking universe size, that shit was made up by fans and they ran with that shit. The speed of light since Dragon Ball, made up by fans. And when I say Dragon Ball, I'm talking about since they were fucking kids. Yes, motherfuckers are running around saying that Goku as a kid was speed of light, disregarding the fact that this nigga was getting beaten in the head by regular human beings in fucking military boots. So, no. Like, there's a lot of fan-induced facts in Dragon Ball in general. So, and they don't seem to be able to tell the difference between dramatization and actual legitimate feats, such as they'll use Piccolo destroying the moon in a 3-second fucking video frame as, oh, well, that beam is light speed, so anybody that does those beams are light speed because it reaches the moon in 3 seconds. No, that's a dramatization. Are you really going to wait fucking 8 episodes for that beam to reach the goddamn moon? No, that's not the fucking case.
You know what I always love about them arguments as well, right? Because like they're trying to take into like these crazy things where it's like, oh yeah, the beam's taking 3 seconds because the video's 3 seconds, therefore like mathematically yada yada yada. See when like they're trying to say that these characters are like multiple times the speed of light, right? See when they smack into a piece of rubble, and then you can see this piece of rubble slowly fall like down the screen, and you're meant to be keeping up with these multiple times the speed of light characters, and this piece of rock is just like, I don't think that rock's traveling multiple times the speed of light, so you can perceive it that way, you know?
Like, also too, like, you gotta flip the script on them. Like, if that's the case, that well, that beam made it there in 3 seconds in the moon. What the fuck is Saitama? Y'all refuse to say that motherfucker's light speed.
He is like they got he's got feats.
He jumped from the moon to the earth in less than a second. How fast is that? And y'all refuse to say that he's light speed. So you gotta pick and choose between these dramatizations and everything like that. You gotta understand what you're looking at. And then on top of that, with the when it comes to the light speed, this shit is embarrassing and hard to talk about, man.
Remember that one time Goku dodged lightning as a kid? Me too.
That and he didn't even dodge it. That didn't happen. Like, he got struck by it the first time, and then the second time when it came, it literally hits the ground and drags towards him, and he's backpedaling. Like, he didn't even dodge the initial strike. Well, of course they're faster than lightning at this point. We're not saying that. But y'all gotta stop with the speed of light shit. And never in the history of Dragon Ball has speed of light been mentioned until you see Whis and Beerus coming to Earth. That's the first time you hear about light speed, but you never hear a character using light speed in combat or anything like that until you get Dispo. And once you get Dispo, guess what? Even the people that are way stronger than him can't keep up with his ass. They had to cage him off because he was too fast for the other supposed light speed characters.
Yeah, and see with Dispo as well, was there not like mentions that this cunt is just about like the only cunt that's surpassing light? And even then, like the thing that he does to surpass light was like this new form of speed that he uses. That's an anime exclusive thing.
Yes, maximum light speed
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah. So he's not like the rest of everyone else where they gradually get faster. He can use his top speed in an instant. So he don't have to accelerate.
And mind you, this is linear. This is not like, it's not like he can just zip around and do it. He literally, which is why he got caught by hit. Because he can only run fast in a linear fashion. So
So see, when it comes to like these crazy like how to put it, like mathematic things the Dragon Ball community want to bring out. So I'm going to use it because I always use it as a thing, because it's just like, if people are going to argue that this is the speed of like a character's traveling or like combat speed and stuff, I'm going to use the same maths to like really rot their brain. So see, in Marvel, speed of thought is confirmed instantaneous multiple times the speed of light. There's like literally things like, okay, speed of light's going to take like 8 hours. Speed of thought, done, right? Because you can like look at a moon and be like, oh yeah, that's a moon, quicker than, you shoot a beam of light, and then like, it hits the moon, right? So that's what their thought process is speed of thought's instantaneous. So see, when you take telepathic bolts into effect, which is traveling at the speed of thought, and then you have characters defending that thing, you're talking about somebody that can move faster than instantaneous, which sounds ridiculous, but if you're using the same logic that they want to use, that's what's happening. like Thor in a dazed state blocked a telepathic bolt, like whilst it was coming at him, like that would be faster than instantaneous. That's just what that is if you're using their math. Like
so another thing with this light speed stuff with the Dragon Ball characters, one of the things that you can use to kind of nullify that, you're saying that these characters have been fighting combat speed at the speed of light since Dragon Ball. Those are the real idiots, the super idiots, the high level 150 dungeon fighter motherfuckers that are saying that. Then you got some of the less incompetent ones that say they've been speed of light since Dragon Ball Z. But let's go ahead and go by that logic. They've been light speed ever since. So you mean to tell me one particular person has been able to watch all these fights? They train their eyes to watch these guys fight at the speed of light from beginning to end. You know who that one person is?
Bulma.
Fucking Bulma. So you telling me Bulma, who's been in every fight, who's been able to watch every fight and basically commentate every fight they fucking been in outside of Boo, because she wasn't there for Boo. But I know what, in the beginning, didn't they watch it on TV or some shit? She had fucking drones flying around and watching that shit. Like, they're not as fast as you fucking think.
so here's the thing to also dispute this.
And then you get later on, Hercule, Mr. Satan, starts being able to see their fights.
No. Here's the thing. We can even go even more recently with the Tournament of Power, where Zeno, the king of all,
talk that shit, man. Go ahead.
The king of all is not able to keep up with Dipso. The king of all has to have a iPad to be able to watch Dipso fight. And then even then, it sometimes does not matter. like that. The Zeno not only is not fast enough to keep up with light, Zeno is not even 4D, because there's literally 2 different Zenos. And in order for you to be beyond 4th dimensional, in order for you to be beyond time, there's only one of you that has to be in existence. Mr. Mixelpick, there we go. Any 5th dimensional characters, I don't think there's another Odin, really, as far as I know.
I can't remember there is other Odins in like other universes, like outside 616 and stuff, but like the way it works is like they're technically above time because like within their like universal thing with all the other universes inside or whatever is like their avatars, or like it's their avatar state, so it isn't like there's going to be two Odins running around at one time or whatever. Like that can't happen. There's only the one entity.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the avatars. Got you. But their true form, there's only one in existence.
Mhm.
Like there's literally a possibility, depending on how many timelines there are Dragon Ball, there's just as many Zenos, and no Zeno knows the other Zeno.
Now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember. There wasn't we saw multiple Zenos. We saw multiple of the same Kais. We haven't seen multiples of the angels.
As far as I know, no.
Yeah, we haven't. Even when they found Zeno, you didn't see the double, like a double of the Grand Priest.
Nope.
Oh shit! Hold on now. Like, something like I don't know. Some things might be put together. Maybe Zeno not that nigga. Maybe it is the Grand Prince and the Angels. Hey, hold on. Maybe Zeno just has a. Maybe he just has a snap ability. Maybe that's just it. That's probably why they got him on the leash.
That's what I think. That's what it's got to be, right? Because he's got this just crazy ability, where it's like they can wipe out the universe. That's all I can do, though. Like, if somebody were to shoot me right now, I'm done. See, if someone were to punch me really hard, done. But you know, I can wipe out the universe.
Yeah, he has no combat experience or nothing like that. Or anything.
Yeah, no. Like
he don't even know what martial arts is. So
yeah. So like I said, Zeno's the only one that can erase immortals. But it's just like he's not a fourth dimensional being because he's not beyond time. He's not fat. He cannot perceive faster than the speed of light because he couldn't perceive Dipso. And we're going to get into final thoughts in just a second, because I hope you're actually getting the idea of the differences of these two universes, because this ain't a contest, and especially it's not a contest if you actually put in Death Battle's actual rules, which once again I will put up here on the screen for you to see. Bloodlusted, no prep time. Anything in character is thrown out to make this a death battle. Now, granted, Vegeta is one of the most ruthless characters in Dragon Ball, but
he still can't never get the job done.
True. And the thing is, even with his ultra ego, it helps of what he's usually characterized as the person that gets beat up before Goku has to take them on. So technically, he has a power up that goes with what he is. But when you compare it to Marvel, it's just like it's Goku versus Superman on an even more ridiculous scale.
And we're talking about a bloodless Thor. So automatically he's coming in Warriors fucking madness.
Yeah, no, I was about to bring that up. See, any feat that I just mentioned, times that by 10.
like
and in this case,
Thor Force Thor with fucking Warriors madness.
No, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't even have to bring that up.
He just exists, bro. That's it. He's just gonna flex a pack and it's done.
It just says if Odin wanted something gone, it's gone.
Now the real question is, where in both of these characters' timeline are Death Battle going to use? I'm gonna assume that they're not going to use Ultra Ego yet, because it takes a while to do these videos anyway. So I'm pretty sure they've already started probably before Ultra Ego, and maybe we might get Cosmic Hero Thor. We might get that, but there's a problem. We might not get full on Thor Force for Thor that we just got in the comics in this Death Battle.
Okay, so let's do an actual fine.
Because Thor, just a couple weeks ago, Thor just got the entirety of the Odin Force, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
so
3 weeks ago or something.
So let's take that. So more than likely, we will see. We'll probably see Spirit Fission Vegeta with possible Super Saiyan Blue evolution.
Yeah.
Versus, like you said, they have to do a percentage of the Thor force. Like he's had
there's
If
that.
gonna be a
it's
percentage of that.
power cosmic, it is.
Yeah,
Like,
so
Power
power
cosmic.
cosmic with a percentage of the Thor force, which is still a wash.
yeah, like power cosmic. He nicked off Galactus, instant universal bit threat.
Killed-
Before that,
he-
had plenty of multiversal feats.
Yeah, he killed a well-fed Galactus, which put him at a multiversal level, and we know for a fact a universal being, which was a Black Winter itself. One shot at
Universes.
both of them niggas
Universes.
in one shot. Like he just one shot at both of them.
Yeah, so this is it doesn't, like, even if you were to, like, it doesn't matter which Thor you use, like
I have Donald Blake beating on them. Like that's what and I don't mean like recent Donald Blake that was killing like the Universal Dragon and stuff. I mean like cripple with a walking stick beating Vegeta.
Don't do that.
Don't do
No, I haven't. Do you know why? Because this is what's going to happen. They're going to fight, right? And then
right now. You're trying to disrespect us.
no, because we're going to do like the thing that happens with Vegeta, right? It's going to be like, oh, this is a tough fight. I need to get a power up, and then he's going to lose, and then Goku's going to come in.
He
Gonna
gonna
sit
lose
there and
too.
tell me I'm wrong.
He gonna lose too.
So it's just, so final thoughts. We're gonna go in a roundtable before I finish it off. So when it comes to Thor, what are your final thoughts on Thor? How do you think they're going to try to use Thor in this fight? And who do you see coming out on top?
I think that they're going to do what they do in everything and completely ignore a lot of things and do the math wrong. Because, for example, when they did the last Thor versus Wonder Woman thing, they used like some stupid math to talk about like how fast Mjolnir travels. And they did the math wrong because it was like something like 36,000 times the speed of light, but it was meant to be double that because they were only taking the travel distance of one way and not both ways. And you're meant to take in both ways because like taking into account the time and stuff, it was meant to be, this is objectively, it has to be both ways. So they're not good at their own math, right? So they're going to do plenty of fuck ups. They're not going to take a lot of things into account. They're not going to take a lot of scans into account because, like, even though like I want to assume they mean the best, they're not reading like 70 plus years of comics, plus whatever tie-ins.
Super accurate shit of
Exactly right. At best, they may look at a respect thread, you know. Then you have like just like the way it's going to be is no doubt in my mind that they are going to have Vegeta either win or like just about lose, which it shouldn't be in any scenario. You could have Vegeta have Hakai and it would not work. Like there's so many feats saying Thor's winning, but again with that battle, it's probably a wee toss up in it.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Hakai, but it's been shown that Hakai isn't always guaranteed. He didn't just destroy shit. If you're strong enough, you can withstand in Hakai. And we know for a fact that Thor is strong enough to withstand that shit. So if y'all think a Hakai is just gonna wipe Thor off the fucking map, it ain't gonna work. Even if, let's say it did work, it's just gonna manifest himself back because he's a fucking force of nature now.
Yeah. Because even before he had all this, right, there's only a scene in like the comics where like Thor's talking about how like, see this thing that I'm currently in that looks like, you know, fucking blonde hair, buff, holding Mjolnir. It's just like, that's just my physical like being. Like if I really wanted to, I don't have to be here. And then he like touches space and he literally warps reality around him because he's manifested himself somewhere else. Because again, you're going to destroy a physical thing. He isn't a physical thing. He's like literally like such a like an aspect of the universe at this point. Like he's just going to come back.
And we're not even going to mention the fact that Saiyans are weak to magic. Y'all forgot about that shit, huh? Y'all forgot about that shit.
So, speaking of Vegeta, what are your final thoughts, Admin Static, on Vegeta? What do you think Death Battle is going to try to use and or do? And who do you see winning?
So, oh God, I fucking hate this shit. So, we already know Death Battle is not going to do their proper research. I've learned to not hold it against them because, especially when it comes to combo characters, there's so much information to digest when it comes to using just about any combo character in general. You literally have to grab a comic book character that was created within the last year or two to have an actual complete like resume of what they've done and everything like that. Other than that, like Thor mentioned earlier, you got 70 years of Thor. There's no way in hell they're going to go through all that fucking research. And we're talking about 70 years of not just Thor's run alone, but the nigga's been in Avengers. He's appeared in X-Men comics. He's appeared every fucking way. So they're not going to read all that. They're not going to look at all that. When it comes to Vegeta, you literally got one line of history to go with this guy, and it's pretty linear. I mean, you can go back and forth between the manga anime, and it mostly mirrors itself until you get to the Tournament of Power, because Toritorio and Toriyama stopped working on the manga so they could work on the movie, on the Broly movie, the Super Broly movie. They stopped the manga to work on that and to get their points on that, while the anime still had a schedule, so they just took it upon themselves to keep going. Which is why you get that difference right there, and then it kind of now is starting to line back up once they start, well, if they start to show up. But anyway, with Death Battle, this is what I think is going to happen. We're going to get some comic feats, obviously, and I know for a fact they're going to mix in some MCU shit. I know for a fact we're going to get some MCU Thor shit, which is not even going to fucking matter compared to the comics. But they're going to find a way to use that to...
They're 100% going to say that Thor's an alien.
Yeah, like they might not even mention he's an alien, like Death Battle himself, but they're going to use his feat when he made Stormbreaker. You know, when he fucking sat in the middle of that star, and they're probably going to use that as his max durability when we know he can take a lot more. They're going to mix up. They're going to combine the MCU and comic book Thor shit, and it's not going to even out well. With Vegeta, they're going to go by fan-induced facts. Well, their universe is 9 times bigger than this. These motherfuckers is multiple times the speed of light, even though we've seen that they can't even compete with somebody at speed of light. So hopefully they actually take the information that they've recently got since their last Dragon Ball video. The last Dragon Ball video was Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus Superman, right? That was the last one they did with Dragon Ball characters, if I'm correct. And we still didn't get speed of light at that point, and they just thought this nigga was at speed of light. Dispo wasn't even a thing yet at that point. So now that they get this accurate information, the question is, are they going to use it? And I don't think they are. I have no hope when it comes to getting actual facts coming to Death Battle. It's all just entertainment at this point. I think it's going to be one of two things. They're going to edge it out to Vegeta, or it's going to be a super close fight when it should not be. It shouldn't be. I would give anybody $500. I mean this for real. I'll give anybody $500 if you show me Vegeta beating someone worth beating in Dragon Ball. Who is he beating that was worth it?
Okay. Are you ready to watch me get $500?
What you want?
Manaka.
Get the fuck.
I'm about to say
hey, pal me a bitch.
the closest thing is Topo. That's the closest. And as soon as he let go of his pride, you know, that's Vegeta's whole thing. He stopped becoming worth anything. So, final thoughts. Of course, we've been doing the death battles on this channel. They tried to make it close with Korra versus Storm, even though even in Death Battle, they admitted that Storm easily could have won in a multitude of ways, just like that. We just did Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna, in which there's a whole comment thread that we went on, but but it's pretty much like they don't use proper context a lot of times. And like we still don't really, it don't sit well with me that Zatanna won there. I understand
it just still don't sit well with me. I'm kind of upset I missed that conversation y'all had, but
yeah. Like I said, it did. Like you could, like, as we ultimately decided, you can make an argument for both. For me, as being the DC fan, I feel like you could have used a lot more different stuff to make that argument. The fact that you used Perlea really didn't sit well with me as a DC fan, because that was just so far out there. Just like even with Scarlet Witch, going against the people that she went with, that's still so far out there, that it's only like really a one-time thing. And I didn't like that at all. Now with this battle currently going up, as Admin Static said, they're probably not going to use Ultra Ego. I think that's too recent. But they might surprise us.
Yeah, they might. They could have went back, like after the video, they could have went back and like, hey, add this in real quick.
Yeah, they might surprise us, and they might surprise us with full power Thor, but more than likely they're not. They're gonna make this close, they're gonna make this entertaining. Which this is what we take it as, in, even though we know paper to paper, this is not a fight at all. As we just mentioned, the litaniest of people that Odin himself went through, who were universal to multiversal people, and as Thor mentioned, the power is multiplied now. So anything that Odin can do, damn well we know Thor can as a Thor force now. Thor, even with the power cosmic Thor, like this, they're gonna make it entertaining. They're gonna make it close. But if I see Vegeta winning, there's, I mean, I already don't treat Death Battle as a viable type deal when it comes to that. Even though a lot of people, even though a lot of people treat them like the gospel.
It's going. They have the abilities to change the landscape. They have the ability to change the landscape of fan bases.
Yeah, you have and that's the thing that pisses me off with Death Battle so much, is that you now officially have the power, and you have the power, the knowledge, and the reach to
don't
change.
Say knowledge. No, don't say knowledge.
No, they do. No. They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could come up with research teams. You are just as big, if not almost as big, as the Deadliest Warrior when it was on television. Like, that's how much knowledge and power and outreach that you have. You could literally change entire fan bases, and you still go with fan-induced stuff. Like, they're going to make this close. They're going to make this entertaining. They're going to have good graphics. But at the end of the day, Thor wins. Like, this is literally Superman versus Goku on an even more because as you said with Superman, it's literally, as you said with Superman versus Goku, once again, this is the person that breaks limits versus the person that has no limits. So if Superman was a person that you considered to have no limits, what the fuck you think Thor is? Like, if you considered Superman, who, mind you, has limits, and you say he doesn't have any, what do you think the actual God of Thunder, now multiplied with his daddy's power, is?
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet they're gonna mention him getting stabbed in the back by Noah? How much you want to bet?
I have no doubt in my mind they'll bring that up, even though it isn't like that cunt made a sword that killed other gods.
Yeah, a god-slaying sword.
Yeah. I have also no doubt they're going to bring up that Better I Bill Rock thing. That's what they're going to do. Oh, do you remember when Cosmic Thor was staring at something and just got domed up the head of a boulder? And he's like, ugh.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So what? Goku started crying when he got hit over the head with a rock and Super Saiyan form. So what you want? What you want to do? We gonna do this?
But final thoughts, Thor wins. It shouldn't even be close, but of course they're going to make it close and entertaining. So that has been our analysis of Thor versus Vegeta. For Admin Static and Admin Thor, I am Admin Magic. This has been Nerds of Combat. Stay tuned next week. Actually, no, because the battle is on May 9th. So the following days after that, we will do a review. We're not going to watch the death battle, but we are going to do a review of the death battle, see what they got right, see what they got wrong, and see if our predictions came true. So other than that, I hope you have a fabulous day and take care.